Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to Chats with Your Self-Worth BFF. It's your host, Mikaela Filar. I know it has been a while since we last recorded, last posted. There has been so much going on in my personal life as far as travel and stuff goes. And before I left, I ended up getting sick, and that was like a reflection in itself. But I ended up getting sick and I wasn't able to record the podcast that I needed to record to like schedule while I was gone. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm the boss. I'm in charge. So I'm just going to take a little break. But now you know what's been going on. The podcast is still very much so alive. However, I just took a little 3-week sabbatical and now we're back. And today I want to take it back to the beginning. Like I want to share why I started this business, what my story is behind it, how I got in touch with my intuition, my intuitive gifts, and like figured out what it actually was. And I also want to share a little bit about like my personal self-love and self-image journey. Before I start that, I would love to inform you that my prices will be going up mid-September. So around my birthday, if you don't know this, my birthday is September 17th. We're on my Virgos. Shout out to all my Virgos. Anyways, my higher self has honestly been bitching at me to like raise my prices for quite some time now. And my ego and my higher self have just been like having a little argument and going back and forth about raising them. And then I like limiting self beliefs. So I had to like clear those before jumping into another price price range. Thank you. So I do want to let you guys know that like my one-on-one sessions, my mentorship prices are being raised. So if booking a session with me one-on-one for an intuitive energetic healing session has been on your mind, or joining mentorship, now is the time to join, because you don't, then I mean, obviously the price is just going to be raised and then you can pay that price. And if you don't care about costs, then awesome. But if you do, then and you want to get whatever you're desiring to invest in for the cost that it is currently, then you're going to want to snag it before mid-September. Okay, there's that. One more thing. I am relaunching Glowed Up. All right. Glowed Up is my 6-week self-love and self-image mastery course. Inside of this course, we are going to be getting into unconditional love for yourself and your life. Okay. We are going from stuck to unstoppable. We are shutting that inner critic up and truly taking radical responsibility for ourselves and our life. We are learning to take control of our thoughts. We are doing energy healing meditations. You're going to learn how to do these meditations yourself so that you can do them they can help you improve your everyday life. We are going to be learning so much in there, but honestly, like the majority of it is just fully learning how to embrace who you are from the inside out. And why that is so important, why self-love and self-image are so important, is because they are literally the keys to fucking life. And I'm going to get into that throughout this episode, which is why I wanted to share it with you guys, because I think that my self-love and self-image journey is pretty crazy, like the amount of change that I've made within the last year of my life. And so I wanted to just, and that's on, and I truly believe that that is because not only have I gotten in touch with my intuition and obviously like become BFF with my higher self so that I'm able to like move forward with the decisions I make in life with like knowing that it is 100% what's best for me, but also because like my self-love and self-image journey has truly just gone from in the trash to skyrocketed, above 7 out of 10, right? So I want to kind of share why it's important and my personal story with you. So here we go. All right. So at the end of 2022, I was working for a network marketing company that I thought I loved because I loved doing it. But the reality is, what I loved about it was all of the recognition, all of the awards, all of the praise, all of the like fangirling, right? It wasn't that I actually loved like what I was doing. It was just that I actually just was seeking that outside validation and that praise and that recognition. And that in itself is a huge sign that your self image and self love levels are just not as high as they could be, because that means that you are looking outside of yourself, right? For something that you can give yourself, which is that love and that praise and that recognition. Like you shouldn't be looking outside of yourself for that, right? So that was like a number one sign. And I was in this, and eventually I just got so burnt out and I was like, this isn't for me. Like I feel like I should be doing something different. I had no idea what that was. Eventually that business burned to the ground. My whole team, if you don't know this, you have to have like a team for network marketing. So my whole team had like basically quit and decided like it wasn't for them either. And because of that, and it was all at the same time, and it was like right after I had promoted, long or short, like it just all crashed and burned to the ground. Now, I didn't know what I was going to do. And at that time, I was also in a relationship that was definitely not for me. And this person was not the nicest towards the end of the relationship. And really like just made self-love and my perception, my self-image, my perception of myself like really low, right? Like I didn't think I was good enough because of the things that he was saying amongst my own. I'm taking radical responsibility, like, and I know that he was just reflecting the way that I felt within myself. So that's not on him, that's on me. I take radical responsibility for that. But it was just like when you're in a relationship, like the relationships are going to expose your um like deepest limiting self-beliefs, okay? And they come out in the form of like your significant other is going to reflect that back to you. What a reflection is any like misaligned emotion that cannot come with you to the next level is be reflected back to you in the form of people and circumstances you find yourself in. So when I was like in that situation, he was very much so reflecting like all of these limiting self beliefs, like I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes, I'm not this enough, this I don't have enough, blah blah blah. What am I doing? It was just like all these limiting self beliefs, and so my business tanked. I ended up getting dumped, and I had just turned 30. And so that, in itself was a whole other thing. I thought my world was ending because I was turning 30 and I wasn't getting married or having kids or didn't have my life figured out, didn't have my job figured out, right? And that wasn't even like my own that wasn't even my own belief. That was society's belief that were put on me when I was, as we get older, we have all these beliefs that like we have to have X, Y, and Z done by a certain age. And if we don't, then we're fucking losers. And that just wasn't the case, right? Like at all. So I had that going on for me too. And I was just super stressed out, super depressed, super anxious. Felt like I was having a dark night of the soul, right? That's like basically when you feel like your entire life is blowing up before your eyes. So what did I do? I decided that I was going to move away about 2 hours away, and I was going to like truly focus on myself and just really like focus on becoming better and figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, right? So I did. I moved 2 hours away. I found my own cute little like studio apartment I could not afford. And I got a job in fitness. I've been in the fitness industry for forever, like part time, teaching some classes here and there. And then I started like learning this work and doing like the healing and the shadow work and stuff like in October of 22. When I started doing it though, I had no intention of like becoming an intuitive energetic healer myself. My intention was just to like unfuck myself, right? Like to unfuck my mind. And um that's what I did. But that was my main focus. And it wasn't until March of 2023 that I was like, okay, I have never been happier. I've never felt better. I have healed more in the last 3 months than I have in 10 years of therapy, right? And just that statement alone was so huge. And I was like, I cannot not like learn this work and learn how to tap more into my intuition and be able to help others the way that I have been helped, right? And so that's truly like why I started my business, was because of the transformation that I had made just in that short amount of time. And then my life just began to get better and better and better. Okay. And this is how. Basically, I went from broke, anxious, undervalued, underappreciated, attracting emotionally unavailable men, narcissistic men, and just like no idea what I wanted to do with my life and no idea what my purpose was. And I went from all of that to knowing my worth, seeing my value, starting this business as an intuitive energetic healer and medium, putting myself out there as such, right? Building the clientele, building the email list, building the awareness of what I do and how I help others. Started taking on mentorship students, started to create courses and programs, started to create freebies, learning the back end of things, learning how to like network marketing truly is entrepreneurship on training wheels. So I did learn so much in the 5 years that I was doing that. And then to take everything that I learned from that and implementing it into this, I still had so much to learn when I started this stuff, but I learned so much and I did everything on YouTube. And I also hired a business mentor and I had my intuitive energetic healing mentor, right? So I didn't do this all on my own. Like I hired help so that I could like do this at expedited rates. So anytime you want to do something, yeah, you can do it on your own. However, if you hire somebody to help you, obviously you're going to do it at an expedited rate, somebody who's been where you're at, right? And can take you to the next level faster. So what I did from there is, the business just kept on growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And eventually then in um, August, so actually it'll be a year next week, I met my now current boyfriend, Bryson, manifested the fuck out of that man because I had done so much inner work. And what I mean by that, because like people see like on social media that I like, because I always say like I manifested him because I did. And this doesn't mean that like I had, you know, rituals and crystals and weird full moon dances, right? That's not what I mean. What I mean is that I myself, my own self image, my own self love, I really like fell in love with who I was in my life and everything that was going on and like quote unquote good or bad, right? And truly just fell in love with the mundane and life as it is. Because you can't, if you're ever in the energy of like, when I have this, then I'll be happy. Or when I have this, then I'll feel successful. Like, I really did a lot of work around seeing everything that I've accomplished and how far I've come. And so I really fell in love with my life currently. I really fell in love with myself inside and out because, and then I really like used my manifestation method, which is the best manifestation method there is out there. I used that method to manifest my boyfriend and manifest like so many other things, but that's besides the point. When I was manifesting Bryson, I got so intentional. I wrote this list and I talk about this list a lot. It was 125 ways I desire to feel in a romantic relationship. And I wrote down like, every way that I desire to feel loved, valued, appreciated, heard, seen. I desire a man who is over, even down to the height, is over 6 feet tall. Is and don't come at me for that. I have a preference. Everyone has a preference. It is what it is. Okay. And also I was like, I desire a man who has a great relationship with his family. I desire a man who wants to hang out with my family and my friends, right? All of these things that Bryson is, down to like the height and his hair and the tall, dark, and handsome, and loves to work out and go to the gym, like takes care of himself and his body, right? All of these things that I wrote down, he is. I manifested him. And it wasn't just about creating the list. What was most important is that I learned how to love myself unconditionally. And that was something that I had struggled with for years, honestly, the majority of my life. Okay. So, how did I do that? I mastered self love and self image. Self love is the ability to put yourself first. It's the ability to fill up your cup before you go and you give to the world. And society has us believing it all backwards, where it's like they want you to believe that doing like putting yourself first, prioritizing yourself is selfish when, it is selfish, but being selfish isn't bad. It's just your perception that needs to be shifted. And what I mean by that is, how are you supposed to show up 100% to give to somebody else if you are pouring from an empty cup, right? Why else would the flight attendants tell us to put on our oxygen mask before helping somebody else, right? Like, you have to take care of yourself first and then you take care of others. So that is the definition, the source definition of self love. Self image is how you perceive yourself and how you perceive others see you. I woke up in 2021 when had an awakening and realized that the majority of my decisions that had gotten me to where I was then weren't even my own. They were very heavily influenced by friends and family. I didn't know what I wanted, and I was so busy asking everyone else their opinion of what I should do next that I woke up and I was like, I am so unhappy because I am so unfulfilled. I'm, not in the right situation in any area of my life. And the reason that that was is because was putting everyone else's opinions and needs before my own. I was doing things that I didn't necessarily want to do. This is in the form of let's say I wanted to stay in and I had a group of friends going out. I was going out with my friends because I didn't want to lose my friend group, right? And so it was just this weird thing that I didn't like anymore. And I was so unhappy. And so I decided to change things up. And it really wasn't until I was stuck in my ways for, like I said, until the end of 2022 when I finally was like, I'm fed up. I'm done. Right. And I started learning this work and really diving into the deep end of it. Self image is how others perceive you and how you perceive that others see you. So I was caring so much about what everyone thought about me and about my business and how others saw me and making enough money and that I wasn't married or that I didn't have kids. It was just this whole toxic cycle of oh my God, what are they going to think about me? Or, trying to prove myself. Oh, if I have XYZ, then I'm going to feel worthy and I'm going to feel like I'm approved. And this stemmed back from daddy issues. It stemmed back from toxic relationships that I've been in where they've made me feel like I was never enough. Right. And so I thought, oh, I'll prove them wrong by creating XYZ. And if I do that, then everything will be better. You guys, we spend the majority, it's really hard to be I don't care what anyone else thinks about me, blah, blah, blah. You could totally mean that, but there are 8 areas of life, right? There are 8 areas of life, and I get into those inside of Glowed Up, but 8 areas of life, meaning that there are 8 different ways that you could be worried about how others perceive you, right? And what others are thinking. And so if that's the case, I doubt that you have 100% over your self-image. There is probably a hole or two in your creator field as far as self-love and self-image goes. If you are not putting yourself first and prioritizing yourself, then how do you expect others to put yourself first and prioritize yourself? The world's a giant mirror of what we think, feel, and believe to be true. So if you are not prioritizing yourself, others aren't going to prioritize you. And like I said, our relationships are our biggest reflections. So if you are in a relationship right now, or even dating, but more so especially in relationships, because after about 6 months, they really start to reflect your imbalances and your limiting self beliefs. And it's kind of interesting because you guys, looking back on it, I have not been in a relationship without either one of us breaking up with the other for longer than 6 months ever in my life. There's always something that goes wrong, and I get dumped or I end up dumping them. And the reason is because after about 6 months, you guys begin to reflect each other. And so I was getting triggered, and then we would fight, and then we would break up. And I would be like, I don't deserve this. I deserve better, blah, blah, blah. Right. And I'd get all angry and mad. And the reality is like they were just reflecting how I felt deep down. And the reason that I was getting triggered is because it was true. Right. That's another thing. Triggers are emotions that get like they're any type of anything that someone says, if it makes an emotion, like it builds an emotion up inside of you, that is a tall tale sign that like there's somewhere deep down inside of you that believes that to be true as well. So think about that next time you're triggered, and you can ask yourself, like, why was I triggered? Why did I feel any type of emotion? How can I shift this? How can I heal this? With that being said, I was getting triggered often because I had a lot of like shit that I had to heal and work through. Since doing all of this work, since mastering self-love and self-image, I've been able to hold on to my relationship. And Bryson and I, like, we do not fight. We don't ever fight. Like, I can't ever tell you that we've ever fought. And if we have had any sort of argument, it's stupid. And it's not really an argument. It's just kind of like a disagreement. And then we talk about it, and our communication is like top tier. So I do know that like this work has improved my relationships, it's improved my dating, and I know for a fact that it will do the same for you if you decide to jump into Glowed Up and like master self-love and self-image. So I'm very, very grateful that I have done the work that I've done around self-love and self-image so that I can hold on to this incredible person that I have manifested. But I wouldn't have been able to manifest him without doing the work, right? Because I had to be an energetic match to meet somebody that matched my energy, that like treated me the way I desired to be treated, and that loves me the way that I love myself unconditionally. One. All right, guys, I want to wrap it up here, but just know that self love and self image are literally the key to creating a life that you desire. Slowly but surely, my life just keeps getting better and better. And I know that for a fact, it is because I have leveled up in my self love and self image. When you are desiring to create a life that you are excited to wake up to every day, and you want people to take you seriously, you want people to prioritize you, you want others to treat you with respect, and you want others to put you first, prioritize you. Self love and self image are literally the key to fucking life. Like within the last year, 2 years, I went from anxious, depressed, self deprecating, right? Couldn't get the inner critic to shut the fuck up, to the happiest I've ever been, and thriving, and totally like know what I meant to do, know what my purpose is, know where I'm going, right? I'm not confused anymore. I'm not feeling stuck anymore, taking radical responsibility for myself, my life, manifested the man of my dreams, and so much more, right? All because I decided to put myself first, prioritize myself, and to really love myself from the inside out so that others do the same. And that is reciprocated, right? So if you are ready to create a life that you are excited to wake up to every day, if you're tired of feeling sick and tired, if you're ready to step out of your victim matrix and take radical responsibility for yourself and your life, if you're ready to go from stuck to unstoppable, then Glowed Up is for you. I am teaching you guys everything that I did to shift my self love and my self image from in the trash can to skyrocketing. That will all be inside of Glowed Up. I really hope that you guys liked this episode, and I'm looking forward to see you guys in Glowed Up. I'm going to put all of the information for it in the show notes below. Have a great week, and as always, we will chat soon.